you getting ready for your next event and you're curious about why you should be able to print badges on site? Well, I'm going to share some real world examples of times when I've been so grateful that I've had on-site printing available for me at a conference. Before we jump into it, I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based in Seattle, Washington. I execute events here and all over the world. I do want to remind you to like, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when I drop new videos. I'm also the co-host of the Better Events podcast with fellow event pro Mary Davidson. We drop new episodes every Wednesday. We dive even more in depth into some of these topics that I've done these YouTube videos on. Listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts. When I say badges, this is like when you have a name badge, whether it's a name tag or it goes on a lanyard and hangs around your neck, but just having the ability to print new ones on site, or you can print an entire new badge, or some of the ways that I've done them, they've either pre-printed it with the branding and the sponsor information and left the area where the name goes blank. And then you either have a printer that you can then feed those badges into, or you can have a printer that you just print on stickers and then put those stickers onto the name badges. So there's a couple ways to do it. It really depends what kind of badges you're using, what platform you're using for registration to be able to export that information. Talk about it. I'm a resource if you want to talk about your options. I've done it a couple different ways just in the last 3 months. But making sure that you have the ability, and here's why. First one's going to be late additions. And what I mean by late additions are these are people who sign up for your event maybe the day before or the day of, or maybe 2 days before. Anyone who signs up after your print deadline for when you need to send all of your information to print the badges to your printer ahead of time, they're going to be a late addition and you're going to need to be able to print those on site. I have seen some folks who make an arrangement with a printer to get those printed the night before, but then anyone who signs up day of is kind of left out in the cold. So making sure that you're able to print on site enables you to have the flexibility to print those people when they arrive, or maybe a last minute swap or a new VIP gets added, and they can get treated just like any attendee versus having to go without a badge. My next one kind of goes like late additions, but people who forget to register. You are going to have people show up to your event who did not register, whether they forgot or someone on their team didn't do it, especially if your event is kind of like a corporate event or has organizations maybe sending multiple people. There's a high chance that you're going to have some people who forgot. And so having the ability to print badges on site just helps you enable to integrate them in, and they're not going to look any different than the other attendees. They'll have a badge, everyone knows they're with the event, and they're in the right place. My third one is someone you could say is also who forgets to register, but this is guests of speakers or VIPs. So many times in the last couple months when I've been working an event, we've known the speaker's name, but we haven't known who's coming with them. This could be family members, this could be members of their team, their manager, their colleagues, and a lot of times your speakers or your VIPs, you want to give them that extra touch of treatment. You want them to feel special. And nothing feels less special than telling them that they can't bring their guest in, or they can bring their guest, but they don't get a badge. So it's a little obvious that they're not really with the conference or the event that they're at. So having that ability to be able to print them a new badge on site, register them there, get them in the system is just going to make you look that much more polished as an event overall. And then my fourth one would be for misspellings. A lot of times people register themselves and maybe do it too quick and they put the wrong letters in their name, or someone else does it for them and puts their incorrect family name or last name. Or I had some people recently where it was their old company for some reason had populated into our registration system. And it seemed really important to them to be able to print a new badge and have that information corrected. So this is just a great way that, again, you're letting everybody put their best foot forward by being able to print them a new badge. And my fifth and final reason for why you want on-site printing if you're doing name badges would be if you have a multi-day event, you're going to have some people who forget their badges in their hotel room. They lose them. They don't know where they went. And it's up to you to figure out if you really want to do that. Again, the more eco-friendly events maybe don't want to print a lot, but we've been doing that for some of our events that I had that were multi-day. Again, we were using the badges as a way for security to know that they were with the event. And so having the on-site ability to just print them a new badge versus needing to handwrite their name in was just a great solution. So hopefully I've convinced you to have some on-site printing available if you are offering name badges. An alternative would be, like I mentioned just now, is you could handwrite them in, but it makes it really obvious that that person had something incorrect. It kind of rubs maybe that person the wrong way. So wanting to make sure that your printed name badges that got sent in the week ahead of time look the same or at least very similar to ones that you're printing on site. And there's all different kinds of solutions. The main key is you're going to need an actual printer and a laptop, and then whatever printer, paper, stickers, methodology that you're going to use to print your badges. And then, as you know, I do a lot of videos and I talk about the importance of testing. Test, print. Please do this, because I've had a couple conference stories that I've heard of people who had this great plan in place, didn't test it till the morning of. They had that crush of registration of everyone trying to join at the start of the day, and it just didn't work, and they ended up handwriting. It's not the end of the world, but just know, help your future self out and test it ahead of time. That brings me to the end of the video. I'm Logan Clements. I'm a freelance event producer based in Seattle, Washington, but I execute events here and all over the world. I'll see you in my next video about event production, event planning, Zoom, virtual event tips, you name it. I got a video on it. I'll see you next one. Bye.